The WNBA's biggest season was supposed to be a turning point, a time of growth, record-breaking viewership, and a surge of new fans brought in by the meteoric rise of Caitlin Clark. Instead, it has spiraled into one of the most shocking controversies in the league's history. What began as a few questionable officiating calls has now escalated into something far more sinister. A potential FBI investigation that threatens to unravel everything the WNBA has built. Fans are no longer just talking about missed fouls. They're talking about corruption, manipulation, and the disturbing possibility that some of the league's most prominent players have been deliberately targeted. It started with what looked like a typical hard foul in the middle of the season. Caitlin Clark driving to the basket, taking a hit midair, and crashing to the floor. At first, it seemed like just another physical play in an increasingly aggressive league. But when the referees didn't blow the whistle, and when similar hits kept happening, the silence started to sound suspicious. Clips of Clark being knocked down again and again without calls began circulating on social media. Fans noticed the pattern. Analysts noticed. Even rival players started whispering about the same thing. Why did it feel like certain stars were being treated differently? Viewers started comparing side-by-side clips of nearly identical fouls in other games, showing how those resulted in immediate whistles while Clark's incidents didn't even earn a glance. What looked like incompetence began to feel like something deliberate. Fans began speculating that the referees weren't just missing calls, they were sending a message. As the controversy grew, the league tried to contain it quietly. Sources claimed the WNBA's internal referee operations review team looked into the matter but found no evidence that officiating contributed to injuries or bias. But that explanation only fueled more outrage. To the public, it felt like a cover-up, a scripted response meant to protect the league's image rather than its players. Then came the whispers that took everything to another level. Reports began to surface that federal authorities had been alerted to growing concerns over player safety and potential referee misconduct. It wasn't just angry fans filing complaints anymore. There were official documents, letters, emails, and calls from insiders who claimed something was seriously wrong within the WNBA's officiating structure. For months, people had suspected that the league's sudden physicality wasn't natural, and now it seemed those suspicions might have had merit. Behind closed doors, chaos spread through locker rooms. Players started privately voicing concerns, saying that the inconsistency in officiating wasn't just frustrating, it was dangerous. Coaches and general managers began to realize that the league's credibility was slipping fast. And through it all, Caitlin Clark remained composed, responding only once with quiet restraint, "I just play through it." That single line became iconic. It wasn't just an athlete's response, it was a reflection of her mental strength amid an unraveling system. The breaking point came when a former WNBA official, whose name remains undisclosed, stepped forward as a whistleblower. This person claimed that referees had been pressured, directly or indirectly, to let the games flow when high-profile players like Clark were involved. The logic, they alleged, was simple and chilling. Controversy fuels engagement, engagement drives ratings, and ratings mean money. If true, it meant the WNBA had been playing a dangerous game, turning real athletes into storylines for profit. That whistleblower reportedly handed over internal communications suggesting league executives discussed maintaining narrative balance and maximizing engagement through intensity. Those vague but damning phrases set off alarms everywhere. The FBI took interest, and suddenly what began as a rumor became a national story. The league statement arrived quickly, insisting it welcomed transparency and supported integrity in officiating, but it was too late. The damage had already been done. Fans were tagging the FBI in clips of Caitlin Clark taking hard hits, demanding justice. Sponsors started to get nervous. Team owners began hiring lawyers. The league office in New York turned into a war room. Executives scrambling to salvage what was left of the WNBA's reputation. Then came the leaks. A series of confidential internal memos appeared online, allegedly tied to the FBI's investigation. The documents painted a disturbing picture of manipulation and control. Emails contained phrases like protecting the product and ensuring story balance, implying that refereeing assignments might have been strategically altered to influence game narratives. One email, supposedly from a senior executive, sent fans into a frenzy. "We can't have Clark dominating every headline. It's bad for parity." Whether real or not, the public perception was devastating. The WNBA wasn't just accused of negligence anymore, it was accused of orchestrating outcomes. The idea that the league could have used Caitlin Clark's pain and controversy as a tool to build attention was enough to spark national outrage.
Referees began lawyering up, unsure whether they were being treated as witnesses or suspects.
Coaches refused to comment publicly. Meanwhile, FBI agents reportedly started reviewing game footage, assignment records, and even internal communications. What they found, insiders claimed, showed irregularities in how certain games were officiated, particularly those involving Clark's team. The words "intentional negligence" started appearing in reports. The fallout was swift and brutal. Several high-ranking officials resigned for personal reasons, including members of the Referee Operations Department. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, once praised for ushering in a new era of growth, was suddenly the target of public fury. Sponsors froze contracts. Media outlets ran wall-to-wall coverage. Even longtime WNBA supporters began demanding a complete overhaul. The FBI's investigation reportedly expanded, examining not only officiating but also potential communications between league executives and media partners. If the Bureau confirmed that games were being influenced to preserve specific narratives, it could amount to one of the biggest sports scandals in U.S. history. Caitlin Clark, through all of it, stayed silent. Her camp issued one brief statement: "Caitlin's focus remains on basketball." Yet her silence only amplified the storm. To fans, she became the symbol of everything wrong and everything hopeful about the league. She was both victim and catalyst, the player whose rise forced the WNBA to face its deepest flaws. As the investigation deepened, the league began rolling out damage control measures. Referees were reassigned or retrained. An external integrity committee was formed, supposedly to oversee future officiating. But for most fans, it was too little, too late. The trust was gone. What was once the league's golden season had turned into its darkest hour. The WNBA now faces an identity crisis it may never fully recover from. Its push for legitimacy has been overshadowed by whispers of corruption and manipulation. Every game is now viewed through a lens of suspicion. Every whistle, or lack thereof, feels political. And as the FBI continues its investigation, the league stands on a precipice between redemption and collapse. Caitlin Clark's rookie season was supposed to mark a new chapter for women's basketball, a moment when talent and attention finally aligned. Instead, it has become a cautionary tale about power, politics, and the price of spectacle. The league may eventually survive, but it will never be the same. So, what do you think? Has the WNBA's credibility been permanently damaged, or can it rebuild from this chaos? Was Caitlin Clark unfairly targeted, or was she just caught in a system that valued profit over fairness? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to stay updated on every twist in this unfolding scandal, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon, because this story is far from over, and the truth might only just be coming to light.